I have this madness consuming me. I have this thing, I have an idea. You know, one of those things that can change the course of history. My problem is I can't get this into reality. Ideas are hard because you don't know where to start. Like, how do you take a nothing, a thought that's bouncing around in your head, and make it into a something? So it started in Australia. The idea, I mean. And I just surfed my first wave, and I said to myself, I'm going to live on a beach, in a tropical place, and surf waves. And you need to know at the time, I had like $500 to my name. Like, I was a broke backpacker. But here's the crazy part. This idea would not leave my brain. It wouldn't go away. It just kept poking at me. And then I found this amazing life lesson. If an idea doesn't leave your brain for years, all activity should stop and you should only pursue that idea. This is your path. You see, an idea is part of your soul. It's the one thing that makes you special and unique. And when times get really, really hard, you can keep moving forward and keep pushing ahead. Now, if you deny this idea, you will start to die inside, and you can see it in people. You can see the fire leave their eyes. Do not let the fire leave your eyes. Now, back to that idea when I was 19 years old. I'm 25 now. And I do the impossible. I buy my first piece of land in Ecuador, in a tropical country, on the beach with a world-class surf break. Like, oh my God. An idea that was just this white noise bouncing around in my head has now become something real. And that is the power of an idea. Now, do you know Murphy's Law? That anything that can go wrong will go wrong? Well, this was like anti-Murphy's Law. Everything just fell into place. It was incredible. But every story has a dragon to slay, and thus brings us to the desert. Now, what is the desert? It's a prolonged period of time where you endure an uncomfortable isolation and you suffer. It means doing things you don't want to do and not buying and doing things that you do want to do. All for the reason to make this idea into a reality. Remember when I told you, you're taking a nothing and you're making a something. You see, once you start, you're gonna have a whole pack of obstacles in your way. You see, society's gonna tell you you need a job and a career, a wife, a kids, a family, a 401k, a pension. It's gonna tell you you need security and safety. Your friends are gonna think you're nuts. And because you work so much, you're never gonna see them. And your family, the ones that you think are gonna cheer you on, well, they're gonna tell you to stop. And they're gonna say, you know what, we just want you to be happy. And they do. But they want you to be happy in their version of what happy is. You see, the desert, it's a lonely, lonely place, man. It's lonely as hell. But the biggest obstacle you're gonna face, the biggest enemy you gotta overcome is yourself. Either you're gonna let society tell you how to live your life, or you're gonna live your life on your terms. And it usually starts with that idea, that one unique thing that is special to you. Here, let me show you with this jar. This jar here represents you. And this line here represents when your idea dies. Now, what happens to so many people is they talk themselves out of it. It's not the right time, it's too risky. What if I fail? You see, that jar is getting pretty full. You make a bunch of excuses not to do it. And as the jar begins to fill up with fear, indecision, doubt, it eventually hits the line and your idea drowns and dies. Benjamin Franklin said, "Men die at 25 and are buried at 75, which means people die long before age gets them. Now, this jar represents what happened to me. You have the people telling you you're gonna be a beach bum.
what kind of job you gonna do, how you gonna make money. Then you work in the oil patch, you work with terrible people, and all you want to do is when you get home is just spend a bunch of money, which you can't, because all the money goes to the idea. And as time goes by, it starts to weigh on you. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of even trying? Why do I care about this silly idea? And then you start to have second thoughts and you start to think about quitting. And that line where that idea dies gets closer and closer. That jar fills up more and more until you take all that indecision, all that self-doubt, and you grab a fucking hammer and you beat that shit to death. I was in the desert for 10 years. 10 fucking years I was there. And you see this? This is what an idea looks like when it becomes a reality. Remember that boy at 19 who said he wanted to live on a beach in a tropical place and surf world-class waves? Well, 14 years later, and that has now become a reality. And 10 years in the desert, I promise you, it is worth it. You suffer, but if you suffer for a purpose, you can endure any suffering, my friend. And if you have an idea, do not let it go. Fight for it. It is the only thing that is yours, and it is worth fighting for.